Hi, this is Irene Wong. Today, I'm so delighted to have Judy Weisman to join us to share her experience. This is a request by some friends about after injury, how can we still continue to enjoy dancing? And Judy has demonstrated that. Welcome, Judy, today.
Thank you very much.
Before we start, Judy, do you mind to do a quick introduction about yourself?
I began doing ballroom dancing about 13 years ago because it was something I had always wanted to do. And I was now in a position I found a teacher. That's another story, but I found a teacher and started doing it. And I did the first free lesson and loved it. And the teacher asked me, well, do you think you might want to come back? And I looked at him like he was crazy. And I said, well, yes, of course I want to come back. So we started and I began competing. And then about 5 years ago, my back had been bothering me and I started having leg pain down the back of my leg, mostly on the right. And I saw various neurosurgeons and orthopedic surgeons. And they all said, well, when you're ready, your right leg is weaker than the other. And I knew that. And it became so bad that I couldn't dance anymore. And I couldn't go on a hike even. And I'm pretty active. So 5 years ago, I had L4-5 laminectomy and fusion with titanium. And I took 6 months off because I had to. And I went to physical therapy. And after 6 months, I gradually started coming back to dancing. Interestingly, I was asked by my first teacher who said, oh, do you think you're going to dance anymore after this? And I said, yeah, So sure, I lost some because it was 6 months off, but I came back. Things were going along fine. And then by about 3 years later, so 2 years ago, things got bad again, only one level up. And I, again, didn't really want to have surgery because the recovery is miserable, actually. But I did, and I had an L3-4 fusion and laminectomy. So I'm now fused from L3 to L5. And I took another 6 months off and did PT and came back again because I'm too stubborn not to come back.
So this is such a good story. And I mentioned this is a request by friends who is going through the surgery or there's someone is planning to go to the surgery. They have a question and said, how can I come back? Or how can I still enjoy the dancing? So what is your experience and journey? And then you can help, share with other people.
Well, my experience before I had the surgery, to give you an idea, I never pulled out of a competition ever. Just before my second surgery, like late October in 2019, the pain was so bad that I had to pull out of my scholarships. I just let it go. That was so not typical of me, but I didn't have an option. I was supposed to be doing jive. I couldn't pick up my leg. I was pushed in a sense. And I had leg weakness. I still have it, but it's not noticeable except to me and my teacher. He sees it. I see it. No one else sees it. But I had the surgery. The recovery was once again miserable. However, I don't see how I could have gone on without doing that surgery. And I took my 6 months off. Now, the second surgeon, who was superb, he said, oh, in 3 months, you can do whatever you want. And I thought, you don't know what I do, So I waited the 6 months. And I did my physical therapy and I showed my physical therapist a video of what we do. And she got it. She understood it. I kind of stopped doing smooth and standard because of how much you have to bend back. And then of course now, and I do Latin now, and there's a lot of torque on that hardware in Latin. But so far, I'm 2 years out and I feel pretty good. I don't take any pain medicine anymore. And I would say, I'll tell you, there's a lot of people on that floor that have artificial knees, artificial hips, people, not so many with their back, but it's doable.
Yeah.
Am I
What
ever going to be a pro? No, I'm never going to be a pro. I wish, but it's not going to happen. But I have improved. I've moved up. You know, I've just won the most recent scholarship I did. So something's working.
Yeah, so that's so good. So from what you said, I learned one thing. You share what you're trying to do with your physical therapy. So at least they know what you are capable and you guys discuss what can you do, what can you do, so you can adjust your routine. So that sounds to me is one of the big takeaway from your experience.
It's important to get a physical therapist that understands that you're an athlete and not a little old lady trying to push a shopping cart. You know, it's like, no. Actually, I'm going back to smooth now. I'm starting back on smooth, which I hadn't done in a couple of years. And because I missed it.
Yeah, so you can also take the journey and then slowly, go on back. I saw you dancing in the last comp and you're doing such a great job. And nobody can tell you have surgery and your smile, your facial expression is just so amazing. You can do it, even with a huge back surgery twice.
Yeah, I did it. And I also think it's important not to go back too soon, because then you don't heal and it just becomes a vicious cycle. When you've got bone that has to heal into titanium, into there's screws in there, you got to let it heal. Yeah, you don't sit around and do nothing, but at the beginning, after this kind of surgery, you can't turn over in bed. It becomes a big production. Do I really want to turn over? Well, I'll go later. So it takes a while to get back. And, all that time you're getting older and older. And it's important to do the PT and it's important not to rush it, but it's doable. You can definitely do it.
Such a good advice, because I actually have a friend. She didn't let his injury heal before she pushed herself. Actually, it's a vicious cycle, as you mentioned. So that is a big takeaway. And then make sure, let yourself heal before you take on the journey, right?
They don't even let you do physical therapy for a month after the surgery. And then you start out and then you gradually more and more and more. And finally, the physical therapist said to me, "You're too good go. You're done." In
the medical field,
Yes.
your job. I forgot to mention that in your introduction. And actually, that's a very important point. You know what can be done.
So I'm a retired surgeon. So I know that you don't want to wait too long, but you have to wait as long as they say. And in fact, in this second operation, I knew that going back after 3 months was not going to be a good idea.
This is so good. Thank you so much. I hope that your experience is going to inspire more people to continue dancing and be able to recover in a progression way.
Hope so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you find this video useful, and please give me a thumbs up and click the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. And click the little bell button as well, so when I have a new video comes out, you will be notified.